of our time. I think he is the only person who cares about us, about the working class, about the average everyday guy. So thank you for supporting Bernie Sanders. Thank you, everyone.
I live on Brattleboro Avenue here in Des Moines, and I am here to support Bernie Sanders because when I boil it down, it's Hillary Clinton is fighting to preserve what we have, and Bernie Sanders is fighting for our future. Yes. I graduated from Iowa State University. I have over $30,000 in debt, and the only presidential candidate who has a clear solution on how our next generation of people aren't going to start their adult life out in the hole is Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is the guy that's going to make sure we can all go to the hospital and not have to worry if we can pay the bill. Bernie Sanders is the guy that is fighting for us, and it's not just about him. He is clear that it is about all of us in this room. He is clear that it is about grassroots organizations like Iowa CCI Action Fund, who's been in this community for over 40 years fighting for justice. That is, if people say he's not electable and he can't accomplish what he wants, we need to remember that we are part of a grassroots movement. We have organizations here in Des Moines that have been fighting for this and will fight for this, and we will win if we elect Bernie Sanders.
So we are now at that exciting point in the evening where we are going to determine how we will elect our delegates. About what?
Bernie.
No.
And Hillary.
No. Okay. Moving along. I mean, it's up to the group if you want to have more speakers. Okay, just checking. All right, so there's two ways we can proceed. The usual way is that everybody divides up into your preference groups, and we take some time to count everybody off in each preference group and to see who's viable and not viable, and then we have another shift for anybody that's not viable to move around and see if we can get some more viability or not. That's the general way. There's also another way, which can speed up the process, but you don't get to do all of the extra caucusing activities that are normally associated. Those extra activities take more time. It's up to you. It's the will of the body. All right? So, the other way you can do it is simply have an election based upon who's here. In order to have the election based upon who's here, and just elect delegates straight up, one round of voting, we would have to have 85% of you agree to go that route. Do I have a motion to attempt that? We'll get there. Is there a second? Okay, we have a motion and a second, so we now have before us the opportunity to vote on whether or not to proceed with a straight vote or preference groups. So, I think the easy way to start this is hold up your hands if you do not want to have a straight vote, you do want to go to preference groups. So hold up your hand. You raise your hand and you vote for your candidate when it's time, and we count them out. We can do that if you want, but that's going to take a lot of time. We would raise
Stop trying to friggin' do what the people want, you idiot.
If you want to do it this way, you simply will raise your hand and vote for your candidate.
Obviously, you don't have 85%. Is that not obvious? You're going to be there for a while. Do your job.
They'll raise their hand.
You're not being paid to try to talk people out of what they're supposed to do.
Why is he trying
to change the rules on that?
But what we're voting
and he's trying to do it without even explaining it to the people. This guy's a fucking idiot. Fuck him.
Right? So, I need to know if there's more than 15% of us who want to split into preference groups. All right? So if you want to split into preference groups and not have the one vote procedure I talked about, raise your hand. Simplest and quickest is to do the straight vote. If you want to do preference groups, raise your hand.
That's more than 85%. Do your job. That's more than 85%. Do your job. Don't talk about it anymore. Do your damn job. That's more than 85%. Your job is not to talk them out of it.
Eyeballing it, it looks to the chair like we will split into preference groups.
Yes, that's not your job to try to change. Quit trying to confuse people.
All right, so at this point, would all of the Hillary supporters come to this side of the room? And Elizabeth, would you be in charge of counting your supporters? Will all of the Sanders supporters come to this side of the room? And Carol, will you be in charge of counting your supporters? And Rick, will you get your O'Malley folks together in that corner and count them up and give me your total? Is there an uncommitted group? Is there an uncommitted group? If the uncommitted group will go into the back corner, go into the back corner if you're uncommitted. And can you count off the uncommitteds for me? Yes, I can. Thank you.
Have your secretary help with the count on the big one and cut the timer out.
I'm assuming that they will actually have multiple people do the count.
Or do they
I have a guy that I just tagged. Okay. So those will be the easy ones. Okay.
Yeah, quit trying to make it easy. How about you just do your job? God. Life isn't easy.
Yes. It doesn't matter.